Hi everybody, welcome to another Qashqai video. Today we're going to be talking about these roof bars. A lot of you have been asking me about which ones I use on my Qashqai, which bars you should get, which feet you should get. There's a lot out there, a lot of different options, and you may have roof rails already on your Qashqai, you might not, so I'll go through those different options for you. Also, I'm going to show you exactly how these fit because I've had to recently remove mine, so I'm going to be putting them back on. But as ever, before I start this video, I want to say a massive thank you to my members. They are Shane Cook, Darren Lynch and Aina Lund. You guys are awesome. And if you'd like to join them and have access to things like videos 24 hours early and shout outs and videos and more, including coming up, we're going to be starting to do giveaways to members only. Just press the button just below, it says join, and hopefully you'll be joining us soon. So for now, let's crack on, see how these aero bars work and which feet I use. So the brand that I use is Exodus. First of all, this is the roof bars. These are the Exodus A135 roof bars. These are aero roof bars, which means that they're round, they're not square shapes. Now the plus from that is that apparently you'll get better miles to the gallon because they're more aerodynamic, and also you shouldn't get whistling or much wind and air noise as you're travelling at speed on motorways, for example. So that's the roof bars I use. They're pretty universal for any car that uses the Exodus foot pack. Doesn't matter what feet you buy, these bars will fit it. As for the foot pack, that's where it gets a little bit interesting. So, excuse me, the foot pack that I got and I was told to buy with Halfords' online tool, which you put your registration number in and it will tell you what you need. A year ago, I put my reg in and it said this is the Exodus FP7 foot pack. Funnily enough, I've just checked now, if I put my reg in now, Halfords still sell these, but it doesn't recommend this for my car, which is a little bit worrying, but it's strange. But a year ago, it did say these are for my car. It kind of makes sense in some ways because when we go down to the car, you'll see that it isn't a perfect sit or seating onto the roof rails. It's safe, it's secure, it isn't going to fall off, but it isn't a perfect fit. You'll see there's a little gap at the side. The main bit obviously is that it pinches down and holds on and it's secure. There is a little gap, so that's possibly why. Maybe they got some feedback from someone and they've now decided that the Qashqai isn't compatible, or these aren't compatible with the Qashqai. So now I'm going to show you the actual feet and the actual bars, and then we're going to get down to the car and get them refitted. So these are the feet. Obviously there's 4 of them. Like I said, these are the FP7s. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't know why I'm putting them all in the camera, but you can see there's 4. And I'll just use one for an example. So you can see underneath here, this is how they clip onto the roof rails, and you tighten it up with a supplied I don't want to say screwdriver, it's like a really long Allen key with a T end to it. You'll see it shortly, that you screw into this hole, and as you screw it, you can see there's like a giant bolt on there. As you turn it, it basically pulls these in and it gets closer and closer and grabs. Again, you'll see that when we go out to the car, so it's pretty straightforward. 4 of them, and then just that shot you can see over here is the bars, which are pretty long. Just keep going. The total length or width of them I will probably have to put on the screen because it doesn't say on the box. I can't quite remember, so I'll put that on the screen now. Yeah, so these being aero, as you can see, they're a bit mucky because they've been on the car a bit. They've just recently come off. With them being aero, you can see the shape. Hopefully, if I perhaps do that, you can see they're like almost an oval shape. So they shouldn't make much noise, and my experience of them is that they don't. On the top you've got a nice long piece of rubber which is useful for whatever you're putting on top. It just adds a bit more grip to it when it's tied down. I primarily use mine for cycles, so I have 3 cycle holders, cycle racks, whatever you want to call them, that go on the roof, and yeah, it stays pretty well on it. You can see on the end there are some clips which open up, and when they're open, that provides you with the gap to turn the screws, that end. That's on each end, and what I'll show you now is how the feet go onto the bars. So let's get the feet onto the bars. So here we go. To do that, what we need to do is take off these plastic clips on the end, and there's a little latch underneath which you push it in, the end pops off like so. Once that's off, you're left with the channel for the feet to run down. And then you just line up the square shaped top of that with this. Try and do this whilst on camera, it'll be fun. And it just goes in. There we go. There's sort of two parts to it. 1, 2. Once that's in, you then put this back on the right way up, just like that. Snaps back in place. Now these are not lockable or secure, so if you're a little bit worried about your roof bars being stolen, apparently you can get lockable ends. So it's exactly the same end, but there's actually a key which locks that on, as opposed to it just being able to clip on and off. Touch wood, personally, and all that, I don't have a lockable one, and I seem to have been alright so far. So yeah, let's get the other end on. So undo that little clip again. End pops off. Get one of the feet. Slide it on. Pop the end back on. You can see it's dead easy, like that. So sleeve. If I stand back a bit, there we go. You can see the 2 feet are on. Whilst they're on, they are still adjustable, which is really helpful to get it onto the car because you can then move it to where it needs to be. Make sure it's central, obviously, and then you can screw them into place. So what I'm going to do now is get the other feet put onto the other one, and then we're going to head down to the car and I'm going to show you how you fit them onto the car. Just before I carry on, just for reference, like I say, Halfords no longer recommend the Exodus pack. They do the, I'm going to say, Thule. Some people call it Thule because it's spelled Thule. But apparently the correct pronunciation is Thule. I think it's a Scandinavian brand. Not sure, don't quote me on it, but I'm going to call it Thule, but you know what I mean. Currently, the Thule kit for my Qashqai, the bars, if you want the aero ones, are around about £120. If you want the square ones, they're only about £55. And the foot pack is £107.95 at the moment. So it's a bit more expensive. So I mean, if I wanted to do exactly the same setup with aero bars and Thule feet, I'm looking at best part of what, £230-ish, whereas the Exodus kit cost me a total of just short of £140. So it's quite a big difference, but theoretically with the Thule you're going to get a better brand. I think they might be lockable, don't quote me on that. But yeah, so it's up to you. If you can find this Exodus pack, you'll see how it fits. It's up to you if you want to go ahead with it. Otherwise, I'd highly recommend using a site like Halfords. There's a few independent sites that just specialise in roof bars. Euro Car Parts, I think they do more universal kits, so it's a bit hit and miss whether that will work. But the best ones are the sites where you put your registration number in or your exact car into it, because then you know that that kit or those feet will fit your car. Another thing I haven't yet mentioned, some of you may be watching this and you don't have the roof rails on your Qashqai already. If that's the case, you can get another kind of kit. I don't know the exact name of it, but what it does is it goes around the body moulding of the car and slides in just where your door shuts. So I assume it's protected in some way, so you're not going to end up damaging your paint. But that's for the cars that do not have the roof rails already. I'll put a link to that sort of thing in the description. But yeah, let's crack on and get these sorted. So down at the car, this is the key that you get given. So the T key on the end of it is the shape, like a star shape. You need to make these bigger and smaller. So we're going to start off by putting the front one on. Like I said, what we need to do is open up the end cap using this, put it in that hole, all the way down to the foot, open it up, anti-clockwise open it, drop it down, same on the other side. Just see, make sure that the front one is all the way forward, as far forward as it will go. And then it's a case of just lining it up by moving it side to side. As you can see, not the easiest thing to do, but side to side to make sure that it's centre in the middle of the car. So with the front one's done, I can now show you. Basically what you need to do is make sure it's level each side. because it's this side that doesn't move. When you're tightening it, it's this foot on this side that pulls in. So this is the fitting I was telling you about. You can see that it does, probably better from this side actually, get the sun, but you can see it does lip around the rail nicely, but it isn't perfect. Hard for me to show you down there. There's a slight gap underneath, but because of this lip, it isn't going anywhere. The lip goes all the way underneath, you can see, to the lower part of the rail, so it is not going anywhere at all. Now before you put the back one on, I always recommend putting your back one on loosely, and then whatever you're going to carry, be it a cycle rack or a roof box, to put it on top first to work out how far apart you need the bars. So you'll see me doing that next. So you can now see that if I'd just tightened it up here, the bike rack with its arms here wouldn't have fitted on. So that's why it's worth working out what spaces you need. So yeah, so there we go, they're fitted. This is the issue I'm on about though, especially at the back. You can really see it. You can see how much of a gap there is underneath. I'm confident with them. You might advise I don't use them, but these are the ones that Halford did say fit my car. And I mean, you can see here, if I put, that's as loud as I can lift and the car's rocking, they aren't going anywhere because the lip is under the rail. The issue is they don't sit on the rail, and I think that's because the rails aren't perfectly straight. They actually come inwards. If you look at the car from the front, it's kind of hard to see, but the rails come inwards. That's the issue. But there you go, that's how you get them on. You do hear people saying that you're not supposed to have roof rails with a panoramic roof. I don't understand why that would be. I can only assume like a safety thing in case something lent on the roof. I'm not sure. It's a bit odd because everything now sits off the roof. There's no issues there. But yeah, like I say, look, you can see putting full weight, the whole car's rocking and they're going nowhere. So they're pretty securely on. Just tighten it up as much as I can. So you can see where that goes in that hole. These little covers go over. Not perfectly fitting these covers, but they go over it. And that's it. I'm not going to put the bike rack on just now, but it's pretty self-explanatory. If you buy one, it'll come with one. They just hook under that rail each side and just some finger tight style screws. But there we go. So thanks guys, as usual. Appreciate you watching. Any questions, just ping them away at me. I will do what I can to answer them. If you've got the Thule kit, it would be very interesting to hear your thoughts, how you find it works, if it works, if it fits a lot better than mine, which I'd hope it would for the extra price. I assume that's probably it. You know, these are budget rails at the end of the day, so that might be why they don't fit perfectly. The ones from Thule may be purely made for a Qashqai. You can get official Nissan ones, but they aren't cheap as you'd expect. So yeah, there we go, that's them fitted back on the car, ready to be used. But as usual guys, thank you ever so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please consider doing so, and liking the video helps the channel a great deal. So I shall see you in the next one.